Welcome to Crafty Hints. I'm Chantel. I'm so happy to have you here today for some more fall budget-friendly DIYs. Here's my social medias if you'd like to follow me. Let's get crafty. I started out with a wood round and I painted that in plaster. And then I took this napkin from the Dollar Tree and just unfold that there and cut it in half. Now the napkins are 2-ply and we want to get rid of one of the layers so that when we Mod Podge it on here, it'll go on nice and smoothly. Isn't that a pretty napkin? I took my little mini craft iron and straightened that out. You could definitely use your household iron. And snipped off the top. Now I'm applying some satin Mod Podge. So whichever Mod Podge you have, you'll want to use. And I just marked some masking tape right where the napkin cut off. So give this a full coat. Now normally you'll put a little bit on and then place your napkin. What I did was I put it on there and I let it dry. You want it perfectly dry. No wet spots at all. And now you'll put your napkin on here and then some parchment paper right on top of that after you get it lined up where you'd like it. And now you're going to iron it again. This is going to reactivate your Mod Podge. You won't have any little wrinkles and things like that sometimes you get when you're applying your napkin. It also keeps it from tearing. If you've ever applied a napkin, every once in a while, if you're trying to smooth it, you might not get it quite right. This takes care of that. Look at that. Now I'm just taking a file. You could use any sort of sandpaper. I think this is easy to use. I've used many of these. I really like it. Actually, this one I just snapped off a little piece and found that works well on my hand. Now I'm going to give it a coat right over the top to seal it in. Since it's adhered nicely already and nice and flat and dry, there's no problems. There's no ripples. I think that this is a wonderful technique. You'll have to let me know which is your favorite Mod Podge technique. Do you have a tip or trick that you'd like to share that is kind of foolproof? Okay, I took these wood words from the Dollar Tree. I really thought I was going to go with the Welcome Fall. And then I really liked the Hello Autumn. But I settled on Give Thanks. Now I took the Peacock and a little bit of plaster and I mixed that up to lighten it up just a little bit to be a little bit closer to the pumpkin in our napkin. So just gave this a good once over. You want to get in between all of the letters, kind of all sides of that so that it looks well covered and matches well. Now to top off the top, I'm going to take some of these leaves I have picked up at the Dollar Tree and just snip those off. I thought this would be a nice embellishment. Now, of course, the nice thing about crafting is you can use what's in your stash. Now, this one, as you saw, is pretty wrinkled up, and sometimes these leaves don't have the veins of the leaves lined up very well, and sometimes they're a little bit crinkled. So by using the heat gun, yep, and that one, the vein kind of came off underneath it in a funny spot. So taking your heat gun can help flatten them out to be a little bit more pliable or lay a little bit better to the way you'd like. This is just, it's not a very expensive one. I think it was like $11 on Amazon. It's down below my description box in my Amazon list. So just trying to figure out how many I'll need to make it look nice. Something else cute might just be a bow with a pumpkin on there. Whatever you have handy that will go well with this. I took a little bit of ribbon to go right across the top of this napkin. I thought that made a nice seam on the top there. And that's the ribbon I grabbed at Hobby Lobby when they have their ribbon half off. Next, I took some of this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree and I'm just making a loop. Super simple, a little bit of glue here. And then just bend it in the center. And next we'll take some of that matching ribbon and just tie this around to tie them together. Now you'll probably want to make it a little bit longer than I did. At first I thought I would just go around the center, but I ended up giving it tails. So you can make yours a little bit longer so that you have those tails come off of it. I just added some longer tails there. There we are. So we're going to pull these together. You could use a zip strip or a pipe cleaner. This time I'm using a pipe cleaner. You could also use floral wire, whatever is handy. The pipe cleaner does make it nice so that you can move the leaves just a little bit. They're still bound in the center, but it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to line them up a little bit better. I apologize, that's a little bit out of frame there. I'm just laying them down, trying to figure out exactly where they should go before I put that glue. And there we are. Now we'll just add that bow in there and arrange our leaves a little bit. Super simple, but isn't this pretty? What a beautiful napkin. And I've only used one, so you know, we can still use them. Be some nice dessert napkins. Be great hanging on a door, sitting on a shelf. I think this is just so pretty with those colors together. I took one of those white pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. It could definitely be one of the orange ones. Now I wanted a nice stem to go on this. You could definitely grab one from outside, but I had that pumpkin that I wasn't using and thought that'll work. I'll definitely still use the rest of that pumpkin for another project in the future. So now I will just put that on here and just brings it up a notch, doesn't it? Now, what we're going to make is a cement pumpkin. The cement and terracotta pumpkins are so expensive when you buy them in these home decor stores. So I took some Fast and Final spackle, and then I'm using some steel and some elephant paint. And then I'll use a little bit of water to create a cement effect. And just continue to add, you know, a little bit more color until you get the color that you're looking for. So I started out, this is just the steel, and thought that that was just a little bit too light. So I definitely will add some of the elephant. And this is before I'd added, you know, some of the water there. But as you can see, adding the water makes it a little bit more pliable and will be easier to spread on our pumpkin. And I think this is going to all be a little bit of preference. So exactly how smooth you want it. Do you want it to look a little bit chunkier? I decided to go for a little bit more of a smooth look. I grabbed some parchment paper, hoping that wouldn't stick. I think I would use wax paper instead. That might let it lift just a little bit easier, but I'll show you a couple of things as I go that I found made it easier. I'm using a paintbrush. I had all those tools and thought that, you know what, a paintbrush is going to be better. So at first, I'm just slopping it on here, trying to get full coverage. This gives you plenty of time to work with it. It usually sets up like in a half hour. So you have time to play with it before it's going to set up on you. So if it does start to set up a little bit, you can just add a little bit of water. But you'll see, after I get it covered here, I'm going to just come back. Well, as I'm trying to smooth it a little bit now. But I will definitely come back with more water to make it even smoother. I found that did a good job. Yeah, this looks like a kid frosted a cake, doesn't it? So I'm coming in with my paintbrush and a little bit of water. But as you're doing this, you'll see that, sometimes that pumpkin starts to show through again. So you grab a little bit more of your spackle mix and kind of fix that. And it was kind of relaxing just to sit here and go back and forth. I didn't do the stem at first so that I had something else to hold on to as I took care of that. And now I'm doing the stem. I put it here on top of that paint bottle because it fits well right in the center of it. So I could turn the paint bottle a little bit and that worked. Now I let it dry overnight and that's what I got. Now I'm going to use some of the steel because it's the closest to the color. And as you can see, it does have an indent on the bottom, so that cap fit perfect in there. It would also fit on like a candle pedestal. So pretty easy. I think that this turned out great. I don't know if you've seen those in stores, but they are not cheap at all. And we got this styrofoam pumpkin at the Dollar Tree. We took the stem from another pumpkin. I don't know, is that 50 cents? Maybe? I don't know. But here it is all done. Give you a couple of views here. Let's get to our third one. I've got this moss chalk paint and I painted another one of those wood rounds. I haven't been able to find them at the Dollar Tree anymore, so I got a stack on Amazon. Again, I'll link that below for you also because I thought it was a pretty good deal. They've come out really nicely when I paint them. Every once in a while there's a little spot I might need some sandpaper. Okay. A dear subscriber told me if I put masking tape on the back of this, it works a little bit better. I did find that's true. So thank you. Oh my goodness. I can't remember who told me that, but I appreciate you. Speaking of my fabulous subscribers, thank you so much for supporting me along the way. If you're someone who's watched me a time or two, or even if this is your first time, please hit that subscribe. I'm trying to get up to that 10,000, hopefully by Christmas, but we'll see. So if you haven't subscribed, please help me meet my goal. I would love to have you as part of our friends and family. I so enjoy reading your comments down below on what you're doing, what you're crafting, what you enjoyed, what you'd love to see, and some of your crafty hints. Okay, there was a crack down along the bottom of that leaf, so I did that. Now I took these three chalk paints and I'm pulling them together. Now I'm not mixing them. I'm trying to keep the colors pretty solid, but I'm blending them a little bit. So I just dip it in and I pull it, trying to not go back and forth. That's the nice thing about the chalk paint. One stroke coverage is pretty good. So that's pumpkin, maize, and plaster that I used. And I usually don't go this bright with my colors. I tend to go a little bit more neutral with, you know, I don't know, some country, modern farmhouse, but I loved how this came together. Doesn't that look like a beautiful fall leaf? It just ties in all those fall colors so nicely. I had extra paint there. I had to grab some other leaves and use that. I was just in love with this technique. So I have a few more leaves that maybe I'll have to do something with here, but it's super easy, super fast to do. Maybe you could have even, you know, kids do some. Grab a pack of those little wooden leaves from the Dollar Tree. This is a big one from the Dollar Tree. But super simple. And yep, my ladybug came in super handy there as well. I love that. So if you have to sand quick, and obviously I can't really just do it over the garbage can while I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. Okay. If I had more ribbon, I would normally make these tails longer. So I would add probably another 3 inches to what you see I cut there, because you're going to fold them in half and you want a little bit longer tails than what I had. Now you'll fold over the end. And so I took all the green ones at once and just snipped them. Oh, well, I sort of was going to, thought that might be too thick. Okay, so I'm taking one, folding it over, and I'll snip it. Let's go with that. Also, if you've enjoyed this so far, please give me a thumbs up. It helps YouTube to see that, you know, there are people that enjoy this, and so they'll suggest it so that someone else might want to watch. I try to stagger the colors here. I just grabbed a couple that I thought would go with that leaf. And I'm using the pipe cleaner again so that I can move them around a little bit more. And then you just pull them all out. And then you would pull the tails out also, but these aren't very long. But I was getting limited on how much ribbon I had left. So it's all right. We do with what we've got. I think it is a cute one. Now I'm taking some beads to add a little bit of dimension to this sign. You want to make sure that they're all the same height, but this leaf, if you can kind of see, is a little bit wonky too. It's just, it doesn't sit perfectly flat. So that will give us some dimension. Then I took one of these metal words from the Dollar Tree, straightened it out a bit, and now I'll use some tiny wooden beads that you've seen me use from that big bag from Amazon. Now, part of the reason I do this is if I were to put the glue right on the metal, it sets up super quick because of the metal gets so hot. So if you put the glue on the bead and then attach the bead to it, it'll adhere quickly and it'll be fine. Now, after I get this so that it gives it, again, a little bit more dimension, once I figure out my placement, I will glue right on the beads, and then the bead will go to the wood there. And that will make it so that, you know, we don't have that metal wood issue. Isn't that pretty? Now, you could paint your word thankful if you wanted to. That might be even pretty if it went, you know, green or the plaster. Whatever fits your decor, whatever fits your needs. This would be pretty on your door. So many pretty places to put this. I think it'd even be pretty without our big bow, but I haven't made a big bow lately, and I thought, gosh, all of those ribbons would go so pretty with this. Gave that some glue, and we'll just press that at the top. I ended up just using a little bit of twine on the back to make this as a hanger. Just put that in a loop with some glue. You could use some of the matching ribbons so that it blended right in, but it was behind the bow, and here it is. I just hung that up on my door. All right, I found this bucket at the Dollar Tree. I do have some creams and this bluish, tealish, turquoise-ish color in my home. So now, by now, I think you know, waste not, want not. So that's some styrofoam from a package when I got that heat press. And look at that knife. Okay, in the comments below, who remembers Ginsu? Because that's what this is. This knife has been around for more than 20 years. Gosh, probably 30 years. But it works wonderful. So then the paper that I have down there, that is some of my paper that I cover my desk with. Again, waste not, want not. So that's what's going to fill my bucket. Now I've got some of this Spanish moss. And you just need to fluff it up a bit. Crafty hint, cut it inside the bag. Try not to cut it outside the bag so it doesn't make a huge mess. So I cut off a piece that would fit, 3/4 of it. And now I can cut right across the top because it'll fall in there. And now I'm just going to cut my other piece for the other side. Now, see, you don't even see that styrofoam, but I will be able to put some picks in there. But look at these pumpkins. They are mini sweater pumpkins that I found at the Dollar Tree. I was in love. And I thought, oh my goodness, this all just matches so pretty. Now, I also found these leaves at the Dollar Tree. And again, waste not, want not. I'm not going to need all of that wire from that pick. So I cut off some of that wire. And these pumpkins are on a clip. And I'm going to clip it right on there. I want to be able to reuse these year after year. Maybe I won't have that color blue. And I'll want to use that cream pumpkin somewhere else. This gives me accessibility to use it again. And I know that I'm going to use some of these leaves in the bucket. So again, just snipping those off won't be a big deal. And I'm just tucking them in. And this will just be a pretty, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do it on a shelf or if I'll do it on my end table. But I'm just going to stack this in here. Inexpensive decor piece that just looks so pretty and so high end. The sweater pumpkins seem to be everywhere this year. I didn't get around to making a bigger sweater pumpkin, but that's another, idea to use that styrofoam pumpkin that I had earlier. And if you could find a cheap sweater at a yard sale or a thrift shop, that you could use so many different pieces of it for a lot of projects. So much better than, if it's an old sweater in a landfill, right? Plus, it's for a good cause. Okay, that pick had another little pumpkin in there, and I thought that adds another texture. So all these textures here go, I think, nice together. So it's not just all the sweater and the leaves. Now I thought, oh, these little berries would look pretty in here too. Now I'm going to just glue some of these to the wire. I kind of cut them apart off of the pick so that I had more. Now we just want to give it a little bit of height. So we'll stack a couple pumpkins right on top. Super simple. High-end look. Isn't that pretty? Thank you again for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this. You've given me a thumbs up. If you're a new subscriber, please put that down below. Let me know that you're joining and subscribing. Or if it's your first time here, I'd love to speak with you, chat with you in the comments. So thanks again for watching. I hope you'll like, share, and comment. Here's a couple other videos that you might enjoy. Do remember how very special you are and to take a little bit of time for you to do some crafting. Have a wonderful day.